imaginations, talking to them and saying, this is how we got started. Here's some steps. Here's some resources. And actually letting these kids know there is a future in it. Because I feel like a lot of times our children feel like it's a hobby or it's just doesn't lead anywhere. They don't realize that they could actually have a real career in doing some of these things. So, last question is, far as animation, anime, comics, translating into pop culture, far as like movies and things of that nature, how do you feel in our community has that been translated? Has it been translated well? Do you feel like it's being translated more and there's more awareness?
My honest belief is that there could be more of it. I really do think there could be more of it. We have some that have already been out there and, made a name for themselves. But I think that, besides the Black Panthers and the Luke Cages and things like that, we need more of, some of the lesser known characters to be broadcast, put out there a little bit more. Because to be honest with you, I believe that some of these lesser known characters and stories, they have more flavor, more content, more depth to them.
Right.
And that's not enough of that being put out there. So I think we definitely need more of that. I think there needs to be more exploration of those type of creators, the independent circuit, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And, kind of push from there. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are you a Marvel or DC?
You know what? I'm a Marvel fan. I can't even lie. I grew up on Marvel. My first thing was I started watching the X-Men animated series back in the early '90s. That was my thing right there. Getting up every morning, getting ready for school, and watching that, or on a Saturday morning. And other than that, my first comic book was a X-Men book. It was like X-Men number 19, I believe.
Oh, wow.
You just answered another one of my questions without me asking.
Okay, well, so with that being said, because I definitely grew up watching those, how do you feel that they have translated comics into the culture that it's becoming with, the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DCEU and... Like, do you feel that they're staying kind of true to it, or do you think that they're going more for what they think people want versus staying true to the actual culture of the comic book and animation?
I believe on that one, it's kind of like, it's kind of up in the air because of the fact that, yes, some of them do try to stay true to the content because there's a lot of those fanboys out there that will put them on blast. And it's kind of funny to hear them put them on blast. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, I can understand why they want to go this route as far as, switching the story up to keep the viewers first and foremost tuned in. So, I can see it both ways.
Okay.
The Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman, and Tony Moore, that's a perfect example right there, where I hear a lot. I've never read the books. I've only watched the show. I became a big fan of the show, but as the time went by and I started looking more at the show and I hear other people that actually read the books, then I found out that there's a lot of change up in that show that is not in the books and a lot of added characters in the show that are not in the book, but it works because people still tune into it. People still like the alternate story.
There's a whole animated game or something where you can watch the gameplay, like how the story plays out.
Yep.
It's on YouTube, like for The Walking Dead, where it's like some game in Clementine.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask how I know this information, but Clementine and all the people, and you literally are following the story, and you like you get so immersed, and it probably is nowhere near connected to books. Like there's so much spin-off stuff that happens.
But yeah, these are very true statements. Like, they really are. Like, I actually read about 3 of the books. They are nothing like the episodes. Like, the episodes that are based off of some of the books, they're nothing like them at all. Like,
I think that sometimes they take things, they try to stretch it out further because of the popularity, and it kind of loses its true basis. Like, I'm still, like, I'm hearing rumors, since you mentioned Black Panther, I'm hearing rumors that they're going to bring in Storm in the second Black Panther. And I'm just like, how is this going to work? Because anybody that read the comics really know, and even read Eric Jerome Dickey's version of the graphic novel, I'm just like, I don't know how this is going to work, y'all. Because the X-Men universe, it went all over the place.
Well, it's Disney. You know, they're going to try to thumb it down and make it look as G-rated as they possibly can without... Their whole concept is they're trying to make it a household name. That's how they did with the whole Marvel universe and how we even got the Avengers to where they are right now, and how everybody loved the last movie. I was like, some people say it's the best movie they've ever seen.
But it's not true to the comic, though.
It's not true to the comic, exactly. So I'm sure they're going to do the X-Men the same way when they introduce Storm into Black Panther. And they'll make it work somehow. I'm sure of it. Will they succeed? I don't know. That's another thing, too.
Well, let me ask you about another Black character, Spawn. What is your take and feelings on him?
You know what? I think there should have been more. I think there should have been more of him in pop culture. I think there should have been more of him just throughout, period. The most fondest thing I remember is, you know, the movie that came out with Michael J. White playing as Spawn or whatever like that. So that's the first time I've ever gotten introduced to Spawn, was because of that movie.
Right.
And then after that...
The animated series, though.
Yeah, the animated series I got after that, that's when I found out about the animated series.
Right.
But that first actual live action movie was the first time I was ever introduced.
Because a lot of, I'm gonna hate to say it this way, but a lot of people in our community had no idea that Spawn even existed until that movie.
That's true.
And I feel like they left it on the table, and they could have did so much more with that.
I heard they're supposed to be remaking it.
I did too. And just like, you know, they announced it right after they announced that they were going to relaunch the Blade series.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay.
Actually, they had been talking about the Spawn for probably about a year or so before the relaunch of the Blade thing. They have like a mock-up trailer of it, but it's not really a true trailer.
Yeah, I think the one I saw was some fan created something or the other, but I think Spawn is, like you said, one of those independent kind of graphic novels, comics that like has some real content to it, and they didn't really do what they could with it. And I don't know if it's because in Hollywood or, you know, the movie business, to them it's gotta have something behind it for them to want to invest in it. And if it doesn't have what they expect or they get nervous, they shelve it.
Yeah, I think it's that they have to have some type of common ground with other movies that will, I guess you could say, transcend over into the public more easily. And Hollywood, or whoever it is that's making these movies, wants to continue that, so they'll test the waters out. But if they feel like it's not on that same common ground as the ones that have been in the past and have succeeded, and they're afraid to actually try something new, then that's when it happens to where they back shelf it or whatever you want to call it, because they're afraid. They're afraid of the unknown, and they're not willing to jump into it. So.
Right. Well, I appreciate you, and I'm pretty sure Mr. Animated over here appreciates you coming on by. I know you are going to be back Wednesday nights.
Yes, ma'am.
So for my grown-ups, we gonna talk more on the grown-up side about some of these graphic novels from Byrd Comics. But I would like for you to give your follow information again before we get out of here. Our hour is almost up. You have any follow-up questions, Mr. Animated?
No, you pretty much answered all my questions.
Cool. That's good stuff. You did great, by the way, for your first interview, so continue doing that, man. I'm very proud of you. I'm glad you got parents that back you up on this and they support you, so we need a lot more of that. So
Thanks.
Okay.
All right. And follow information for Byrd Comics is?
Byrd Comics, spelled with a Y. That's GREENBYRDCOMICS at Facebook.com, at Twitter, at what else? Instagram, thank you, as well as our website, which is www.greenbirdcomics.com. Find out more about me as an individual artist. Find out more about Michaela Byrd as my partner, as well as the content we got coming out in the future, as well as if you want to buy or support us, or buy our books or support us, you go onto that website and you can purchase our books through there as well.
Well, this was your show. I'm your host, Mr. Anime, and I will read with you later.